Hello, what is up guys? I'm from Peso Smart PH here. Welcome sa bagong episode. Shout out to all the podcast listeners as well. I appreciate you all. Today's stock market news update ulit tayo. Before we get started, a quick reminder lang that I am not a financial advisor. Itong content ko is purely for informational and educational purposes only. Make sure you do your own research and due diligence before buying any kind of asset. And syempre, smash nyo naman yung like button para makatulong sa algorithm ng YouTube. Alright. So, nag-close yung PSEI or yung Philippine Stock Exchange Index at 6,950.51. So, up yan ng 64.51 points or 0.94%. So, we are pushing again for 7,000 points sa PSEI. And then, yung first article na di-discuss natin from Business World is 890 Holdings Q1 profit up 18%. So, medyo late sila nakapagbigay, no? Ng update ng kanilang books for the first quarter of 2021. So yung 8990 Holdings Incorporated reported its net income grew by 18% in the first quarter of 2021, driven by high revenues from its low-cost mass housing segment. Sa disclosure na binigay nila sa stock exchange noong Friday, the company said it generated a 1.56 billion peso net income in the first quarter from 1.32 billion during the same period in 2020. So, yung consolidated revenues nila rose by 29% to 4.48 billion from 3.47 billion pesos. So, ang sabi ng company, the increase was mainly attributable to the increase in low-cost mass housing, which posted a revenue of 2.34 billion in 3 months ended March 31. So, aside from mass housing, the company also develops medium-rise and high-rise condominiums as well as hotels. So yun, silipin naman natin yung mismong books, no, na nakalist dito sa PSE Edge from 8990 Holdings Incorporated. So for December 31, 2020, retained earnings sila is around 23.1 billion pesos. So medyo mataas yan, no? And then yung gross rev nila is 14.2 billion. Gross expenses around 7.4 billion. The net income nila was at 4.8 billion pesos. Although down siya, no, compared noong 2019, but it's understandable kasi nagka-pandemic noong 2020. Then, quarterly report nga, solid naman, no? Yung retained earnings sila is around 24.6 billion pesos pa rin. And then, gross rev at 4.4 billion pesos, gross expense at 2.2 billion. Then, yung net income nila is sa 1.5 billion pesos. So, nagkaroon ng increase yan around 200 million pesos compared dun sa first 3 quarters or first 3 months or first quarter ng 2020. Next up, another article galing sa Business World. Villar gears up for REIT AllDay listings this year. So, these are some big news, no? So, the Villar Group is preparing for the initial public offering or IPO of AllDay Marts Incorporated and the listing of its Real Estate Investment Trust or REIT this year, but details have yet to be decided, their owner said on Thursday. And yung owner naman nito is si former Senator Manny or Manuel B. Villar. So, ang sabi niya, we're launching 2 projects this year, the IPO of AllDay and the REIT. So, ang dami na nagli-list or like, yung nagpa-plan mag-list ng REITs nila sa local boards natin. And I think nakita nila magandang opportunity din yun, no? To like raise some capital, and then syempre magandang opportunity din yun for the investors to take advantage. So yung AllDay Supermarkets IPO will be scheduled as early as October, but the final details will be dependent on the market conditions. The company aims to raise as much as 6 billion pesos from offering primary shares. Then yung planned REIT portfolio naman will feature office spaces. Similar siya doon sa offerings ng Philinvestland and Megaworld Corporation. Next up, Business World pa rin, SEC approves IPOs of Tarlac Power Utility and Aklan Hospital. Pero take note lang, no, hindi ito sa PSE malilist. So the SEC approved the initial public offerings of Tarlac Electric Incorporated and Asia Pacific Medical Center or APMC Aklan Incorporated, both of which will be offered over the counter. So, ngayon ko lang din na-encounter itong over-the-counter na ito. So, let's see, no? Or let's dive deeper dito sa over-the-counter market. So, Investopedia, yung ginawa kong source dito. So, ano nga ba yung over-the-counter market? An over-the-counter or OTC market is a decentralized market in which market participants trade stocks, commodities, currencies, or other instruments directly between two parties without a central exchange or broker. Kasi di ba kapag ka nagte-trade ka ng stocks sa PSE or bumibili ka ng stocks sa PSE or ng REITs, centralized siya, no? Kasi ang nagko-control, hindi naman nila kinokontrol yung prices or whatever, pero merong market maker, di ba? So, merong central na stock exchange, which is yung Philippine Stock Exchange or yung PSE. Same thing sa mga stock exchanges or sa stock market ng US, di ba? Merong Nasdaq, merong NYSE. Same thing sa ibang bansa. So, merong centralized na institution kung saan tinetrade itong mga securities na ito, itong mga commodities na ito, itong mga currencies na ito. Pero yung over-the-counter markets do not have physical locations. Instead, trading is conducted electronically. This is very different from an auction market system. So yung key takeaways natin, over-the-counter markets are those in which participants trade directly between two parties without the use of central exchange or other third party. OTC markets do not have physical locations or market makers. Some of the products most commonly traded over-the-counter include bonds, derivatives, structured products, and currencies. So ayun, I hope na nagkaroon na tayo ng konting understanding ko ano ba yung over-the-counter market. So balik tayo dito sa article. The registration statements of Tarlac Electric, which covers 5.75 million common shares, and of AMPC Aklan, with 240,000 common shares, have been rendered effective by the Commission and Bank on June 24. Tarlac Electric will offer 1.75 million common shares, priced at 380 pesos each over the counter. So, medyo hefty yung price, no? Yung starting price nitong IPO na ito. It expects to net 642.52 million from the IPO. Proceeds will be used to pay for short-term loans, finance its capital expenditure projects, and for its general working capital. And again, these shares will not be traded at the local bourse. And then, some good news naman para sa mga Del Monte investors dyan kasi nag-swing na sila to profitability. They earned $63 million. So yung listed Del Monte Pacific Limited or DMPL reversed its $81.4 million loss last year as the company improved its sales mix and margins from lower sales of low margin segments, lower trade promotions, and expenses. The company achieved a very commendable performance with 63.3 million in profits for the year ended April 2021. Del Monte Pacific disclosed to the exchange on Thursday. So ang sabi nung Managing Director ng Del Monte and Chief Executive Officer nila na si Joselito D. Campos, our team has worked exceptionally hard to bring the company to this strengthened base with lighter assets and more competitive cost structure while meeting consumers' needs for high-quality nutritious products, especially during this pandemic. So it also recorded a 14.5 million profit in the fourth quarter, a reversal of the 12.4 million loss it incurred in the same period last year. Profit growth was achieved for a 3-month period despite sales declining 22% to $497.8 million year-on-year from $638.4 million. The asset-light strategy and other cost-saving measures of Del Monte Foods Incorporated resulted in $40 million in savings. The company said it is on track in offsetting one-off expenses it incurred in plant closures the year before. And syempre, nag-contribute din dyan yung sales sila. So, it went up by 2% to $2.2 billion due to improved sales in the Philippines and international markets. DMFI accounted for 70% of group sales, which amounted to $1.5 billion. Ngayon, tingnan naman natin yung stock data ng Del Monte Pacific Limited. Yung stock code niya is DELM. Yung last traded price was around 14.92 pesos per share. Yung 52-week high is around 16.80. So, medyo pataas talaga yung trend niya, no? Since earlier this year. Grabe. Kung nag-invest ka dito sa Del Monte, sobrang solid nung gains. Silipin naman natin yung financial reports as always. So, fiscal year April 30, ayun nga, no? Yung retained earnings sila is around, so this is in thousands, nasa 60.7 million US dollars. Andito pa rin yung na-record na ano, no? So hindi pa to updated. So losses pa rin sila dito sa financial report na ito. Pero pagdating dito, for period ended January 31, 2021, kita nyo naman, no? Medyo nakabawi na sila. So yung retained earnings sa 75 thousands pa rin to, no? 75.1 million US dollars, and then yung gross revenue nila is 628 million US dollars, and then gross expense 550, medyo mataas, no? 554 million dollars yan. And then yung net income nila after taxes is around 35.4 million dollars. Then balik naman tayo sa business world. AC Energy's 120 megawatt solar plant in Laguna starts commercial run. So yung AC Energy-Corp said on Tuesday that its 120 megawatt solar farm in Alaminos, Laguna started commercial operations and is now supplying renewable energy to the grid. So Alaminos, nice. Wow. So itong Alaminos, no, malapit to sa aking hometown na, no. Actually katabi to ng San Pablo City. So yeah, that's really good to hear. The Ayala-led listed firm touts Gigasol Alaminos as the second largest plant of its kind in the country, adding that it can power around 80,000 homes while avoiding 111,034.37 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent of greenhouse gases. Kaya sobrang halaga nito, no, nitong renewable source ng energy. Ang daming mapapower nito na bahay, and then syempre hindi lang naman puro bahay, syempre may mga businesses din, no, na pwede makagamit nitong energy na ito. And yun nga, mabawasan yung ating carbon footprint. So sabi ng president ng ASEN, we are pleased to add much needed capacity to the grid as electricity supply remains tight. Then another AC Energy related na article. So yung AC Energy-Citicore solar farm in Pampanga breaks ground. So ang daming update, no, sa AC Energy. So yung Ayala-led AC Energy Corp and renewable energy developer Citicore Power Incorporated began the construction of a 72 megawatt solar farm in Arayat and Mexico, Pampanga, which is scheduled for commissioning by the first quarter next year. So as early as next year, no, by 2022 first quarter, mabubuksan na agad ito. So the 2.7 billion peso solar facility, a joint venture between the two companies, will produce enough power to supply clean energy to 45,000 homes per year. Although mas malaki, no, yung nasa Alaminos, but this is still good. Ang dami na itong mapapower na bahay, and syempre mga businesses din. On Thursday, AC Energy and Citicore held the solar farm's groundbreaking ceremony, which was attended by government officials including Mayor Emmanuel M. Alejandrino of the Arayat Municipality and community members. So katukayo si Mayor Emmanuel. Then of course, silipin natin yung stock data ng ASEN. So this is as of June 25. So last traded price niya is around 8.18 pesos per share. Yung 52-week high niya is nasa 11.28, which was obviously here. But I think naging steady na naman yung growth niya. And I think I truly believe na magandang stock i-hold tong ASEN for the long term kasi ang dami talagang development, no. Lalo nung nagsimula na i-take over itong company na ito ng Ayala. And since part na sila, no, ng Ayala group of companies, maganda na, no, maganda yung mga nabuo nilang partnerships. And syempre, marami rin namang businesses, no, yung Ayala na kumbaga magko-complement dito sa ASEN. Kaya I think yung move na yon, yung pag-take over ng Ayala dito sa company nito is really good. Next up, Cebu Pacific increases flights to Boracay, Bohol to support recovery. So budget carrier Cebu Pacific said Monday its flights between Manila and Boracay will now be 5 times daily, while flights to Bohol will also operate daily. The additional flights to Boracay and Bohol, which started on Monday, should support recovery efforts, the budget carrier said in an email statement. So currently, yung stock prices naman ng Cebu Air Incorporated is nasa 53-ish pesos per share. Yung current 52-week high niya is 58.30. So, yung price trend niya is medyo pataas na rin. Well, lahat naman halos ng stocks na sa PSE is medyo pataas. Kasi medyo nagkakaroon ng momentum and pumapasok na ulit yung mga foreign investors, yung foreign money. That's why tumataas na rin kahit papano yung volume ng trading. So that's really good for the market. And I think syempre after nitong boost na ito, magkakaroon ng konting consolidation phase, but I think it will continue to trend upward. Then after that, let's see yung financial reports. I think wala naman sobrang malaking update kasi like by the end of June pa or early July, mare-release yung second quarter books or second quarter financial reports ng mga companies. So this is still for the first quarter of 2021. And as you can see here, it's not looking good for Cebu Pacific. Ito yung first quarter ng 2020, and then syempre hindi naman to sobrang affected kasi kakasimula pa lang nung COVID na March. So parang 1 month lang ito, kaya sila nag-incur ng malaking losses. But ito, full effect ng COVID, 7.2 billion pesos yung losses nila for one quarter, okay? Sobrang laki nun. Alright, so let's move on na. URC to automate ordering system on Facebook. So I think this is really good, I think dapat halos lahat naman talaga is maging automated na and maging kumbaga parang it should be operated online if kaya, right? So Universal Robina Corp or URC plans to further develop its social e-commerce system following its successful use of Facebook as a stock replenishing platform for neighborhood store owners. So URC is now planning for its next phase of growth. It will soon automate community management and its ordering system, sabi ni Oscar Villamora. So noong October last year, the company launched a program allowing sari-sari store owners or mom and pop shops to order URC products from distributors using Facebook. The social media platform also allows the company to tailor-fit content to drive community engagement and to allow seamless ordering process. So, ang sabi dito, merong Ate Chat feature, yung program na yun, which acts as a digital concierge attending to queries and concerns of store owners. So yeah, this is really good, and I think this is a step towards a direction na favorable sa lahat. And syempre yung mga store owners din, they need to be flexible and they need to be able to adapt to this kind of changes para hindi sila mapag-iwanan and para makasabay sila dun sa growth na pino-pursue nitong company na ito. Right, silip din tayo sa stock data ng URC. So nasa 141 pesos per share na siya. 52-week high is 160.90. Ano bang trend to? I'm not sure. Parang lang new maintindihan. But yeah, I think, let's see, ano bang standing niya nung nag-start yung pandemic? So 82. Halos sa doble na rin. If pagbabasehan mo yung 160.90 na 52-week high, which was around here, December. So, nakabili ka at 82, Then, dito ka nagbenta. Wow. Well, sobrang hirap naman gawin, Kasi, syempre, nitong time na to, March 19, grabe, halos lahat takot na takot and lahat gusto mag-exit sa market. Ako at that time, bumibili din ako but hindi URC mga binili ko. Like, yung mga yung mga big names, JFC, SMC. But yeah, I still profited from those stocks, and yun nga. Yung iba nakikita ito like parang takot na takot sila, but you always have to look for opportunities like this. Although yes, hindi naman natin gusto na magkaroon ng pandemic para lang makabili ka ng cheap stocks. Syempre we don't want that, and I think lahat naman sa atin kasi wala naman shorting sa PSE, like gusto talaga natin pagbili natin yung stock, syempre tumaas yung prices. But of course, wishful thinking if like isipin mo or like kung ang mangyayari palagi is like lahat ng binili mong stocks is tataas lang palagi. Of course, yung volatility is andyan in the short term, and hindi natin maiiwasan yun. Kahit pag gaano kagandang company yan, apektado yan ng volatility, kasi tinitrade yung stocks sila And kapag ka naman hindi highly traded, kapag ka hindi masyadong mataas yung volume ng binibili mong stock, medyo mahirap siyang i-liquidate. So yun, something to consider when you're buying stocks. But anyway, kung saan na tayo napunta, ayun, I think okay naman yung stock prices ng URC ngayon. But ako personally, for me, I don't own any URC stocks. But yeah, malaki na yung yung tinaas ng prices niya since nag-start yung COVID, yung pandemic. So I'm not really sure kung competitive itong stock prices nila currently. Financial reports naman tayo as of December 31, 2020. So ito yung annual report nila. Yung retained earnings is around 70.4 billion pesos. And then yung net income nila after taxes is around 11.6 billion pesos. So lumaki pa, no? Kasi 'di ba sila, consumer goods sila. So fast moving consumer goods yung pinaproduce sila. So medyo napaganda pa yung COVID for them. Kasi like, 'di ba yung mga snacks, yung mga canned goods and all that. Yun yung binibili ng pandemic, right? Yung mga yung mga nagsa-stock ng mga ganong klaseng pagkain. So yeah, medyo nakaganda pa yun sa business ng URC. And then let's see yung comparison for the first quarter ng 2021 versus 2020. Same thing, no? So lumaki pa. So no 2020, 2.1 billion pesos lang yung kanilang net income after taxes. For the first quarter of 2021, 3.2 billion pesos na yan. Again, this is in thousands, as you can see here. That's why mag-a-add tayo din sa figures na to ng 3 zeros. Then now we move on to Vivant Unit Bag Cebu Bulk Water Supply Deal. So, isang subsidiary nung Vivant Group yung na-awardan ng 25-year bulk water supply agreement by the Metropolitan Cebu Water District or MCWD. So, yung subsidiary na to is Vivant Hydrocore Holdings Incorporated. So, yung nga nabigay sa kanila yung agreement na ito, which was solicited proposal to the Cordova Bulk Water Supply Project. The company said in a disclosure to the stock exchange last Monday. So with Watermatic Philippines Corporation as its technical partner, yung Vivant Hydrocore will build a utility-scale desalination plant to augment limited supply from MCWD by 20,000 cubic meters of treated and potable water each day. So ang sabi ng company, this investment in bulk water supply is a key milestone for the Vivant Group to deliver on its promise to provide forward-looking and adaptable solutions for its communities. So this move is really good for the Vivant Group as a company and as a whole. Next up is LFM Properties to list 25 billion common shares. So yung Liberty Flour Mills Incorporated or LFM subsidiary LFM Properties Corporation or LPC has submitted a registration statement to the Securities and Exchange Commission last week to list by way of introduction of 25 billion common shares. According dun sa preliminary prospectus, yung LPC shares will be priced at 10 centavos each. They will be listed on the small, medium, and emerging board of the Philippine Stock Exchange. LFM will be distributing as property dividend up to 10.35 billion LPC common shares to all LFM shareholders as of December 18, 2020. Around 69 LPC common shares will be distributed for each LFM common share. So ito yung mga rare cases na nagkakaroon ng property dividends na binibigay yung isang company. Kasi di ba yung pinaka-common talaga na binibigay na dividends are cash dividends. And then sometimes meron ding stock dividends. And then this time naman, itong company nito is magbibigay ng property dividends. Alright, now we are down to our last article of the day. Ito naman, PAL share trading halted on audit disclaimer. So the Philippine Stock Exchange or PSE suspended the trading of PAL Holdings Incorporated shares beginning Friday after the exchange noted a disclaimer of opinion of the company's independent auditor on the listed company's annual report. So actually hindi to, bali last week pa to, no? So yung Friday that they were referring to was from 2 weeks ago. So hindi ito yung most recent Friday natin. So 1 week na siyang halted, no? So, sabi nila, we do not express an opinion on the accompanying consolidated financial statements, CSIP Gores Velaya and Company said in the company's annual report, which was disclosed Thursday. And then it added, because of the significance of the matters described in the basis for disclaimer of opinion on the 2020 consolidated financial statements section of our report, we have not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to provide a basis for an audit opinion on these consolidated financial statements. So yung local boards put the company stocks on a trading halt at 9:30 a.m. on Thursday after taking note of the disclaimer. So yung CSIP Gores Velayos said its basis for the disclaimer is that it had not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to conclude as to whether the use of the going concern assumption in preparing these consolidated financial statements is appropriate. The company's deals with the lessors and creditors have yet to be concluded, it said. And sinabi rin nila na yung PAL Holdings is going on a financial restructuring plan to ensure its business continuity. So, diba, if you don't know already, they are on the verge of declaring for bankruptcy. So, the company is said to be considering filing a pre-negotiated court rehabilitation in an overseas jurisdiction. And guys, itong financial troubles ng PAL, hindi ang nag-cause nito is yung pandemic, hindi yung COVID. Like before pa mag-start itong pandemic, itong COVID-19, hindi na talaga sila kumikita na masyado maganda, no? Like for the past 5 years, as far as the data goes, hindi talaga sila kumikita. Kasi like itong airline industry kasi, this business really requires a lot of money to operate, and they haven't like found a way to make the business profitable. And then na magnify lang ng pandemic ng COVID-19 itong financial troubles ng PAL. So yun nga. So until now suspended pa rin. So for a week suspended na itong, more than a week actually. Suspended itong trading ng stocks ng PAL Holdings. So that is not really good for the investors, and I really believe if we're like looking at the data, or like kumbaga parang bumalik tayo sa pre-pandemic figures. Kasi kung natatandaan nyo, bago mag-start yung pandemic, nag-start yung pandemic and then na-halt, like yung trading, like halos sa buong mundo naman. And then parang tayo nag-hiatus tayo, I don't know, almost a week. I can't really remember that well, pero basta yun. And then nung nagkaroon ng trading ulit, lahat gusto mag-exit, lahat gusto mag-cash out. Even though magti-take on sila ng losses, they want out of the market. And I think same thing yung mangyayari dito sa PAL, na as soon as ma-trade ulit itong mga stocks sila, as soon as ma-lift itong suspension, itong halt sa trading, ang daming gusto na lang na take on some losses, at least ma-recover yung capital nila, and they will close their positions for PAL. So I don't know, I mean yun lang yung yun yung opinion ko, yun yung prediction ko. I'm not really like a big fan of of like forecasts and like predicting things, kasi no one really knows what will happen. But as far as the data goes, I think ganun yung mangyayari sa kanila. Kasi nga, like instances like this, although hindi naman siya, parang magbo-bottom out na, like parang mag-go to zero and then like talagang ma-drive lang sobra pababa yung prices. But I think yun yung immediate reaction ng market. Kasi diba, 1 week na siyang nasuspend and you don't know kung kailan ito like malilift, yung suspension ng trading. So as far as I'm concerned, I really think, in my opinion, na yun, ganun yung mangyayari sa price action nito kapag natitrade na ulit siya. And syempre, financial reports nga, as we all know, ito, report ng 2020, it's not looking good. So this is in thousands. Yung retained deficit nila is at 88.9 billion pesos. That is billion pesos, okay? Ang laki nun. And then yung gross rev nila, meron silang gross revenue, pero tingnan yung expenses nila, ang taas, 81 billion. So yung net losses nila after taxes is around 73 billion pesos for the year of 2020. And same thing, kasi diba, sinabi ko nga sa inyo na magnify lang yung nangyayari na before. Kasi before, wala pang pandemic, noong 2019, 9.7 billion pesos yung kanilang losses. And then same thing, same scenario nitong first quarter ng 2021. So yung retained earnings, not retained earnings, retained deficit nila is lumobo lang, naging 97.5 billion pesos na yung deficit. And then yung kanilang expenses is mataas pa rin, yung gross revenue is mababa. Kasi wala namang masyadong flights talaga. Pili lang talaga. And then yung kanilang net losses after taxes is nasa 8.5 billion pesos. So almost na-replicate nila. Although mas malaki yung losses nila nung first quarter ng 2020, it's still close, no, yung numbers. And these are still losses. There's really no way to like go around it. So yeah, that's just the reality of it. And yeah, I'm not sure kung ano yung magiging like next steps nitong company ito, but hopefully they can like come up with something that can like get them out of this situation. But I'm not sure if they can do it, even though like, you know, as much as you want to have like faith on a business, but if they can't do it on a like normal, you know, situation, normal economy, you know, like yun nga, before pre-pandemic, if they're not making money, paano pa kaya no kapag nagkaroon ng, you know, ng ganitong crisis, ng health crisis, and then directly affected yung kanilang business and yung kanilang industry. Alright, that's gonna be it for this week's market update, stock market news update. So yeah, we're gonna end the episode here. I hope that may natutunan kayo, and if umabot kayo at the end of this video, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Help me grow the channel by smashing the like button kasi that really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if bago ka naman sa channel ko, don't forget to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell para wala ka ma-miss out sa mga uploads ko every Monday and Friday, sometimes Wednesday. You can also schedule a one-on-one session with me. Just click the beacons link dyan sa description sa baba. And you can follow me rin sa mga social media platforms ko: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at MNPSPH. And another way to support the channel is through the YouTube membership. Click nyo lang yung link dyan sa description sa baba to know more about it. Again, thanks for watching and listening, everyone. Stay safe. I'll see you all in the next episode. Always remember, be Peso Smart.